That's Steve coming towards the mat stand.
That bell starts this tag team event between the Guerrero brothers, and they are the pair dressed in the black trunks. Héctor Guerrero is in the ring now. Chavo Guerrero is on the outside. And you are looking at the Houston debut of the fabulous ones, the Fabs. And the Fabs are Steve Keirn and Stan Lane. That's Héctor Guerrero. And right now, as he goes into some of his work to try to confuse he's trying to confuse the Fabs, and the Fabs are trying to turn it right around against them. Here you have the younger crop of the wrestling world at its best. The Guerrero brothers have been wrestling since they were just kids out of the cradle, and they could be considered a veteran team, where Lane and Keirn have been wrestling together for several years and doing absolutely great in all areas of the country. Here, I'll tell you, the way they are shaking this ring is the way it was shaken after the match that preceded this one between Terry Taylor and Dr. Death, and Dr. Death almost shook the ring apart after the match was over. He was unhappy about the whole decision. But now, as the referee comes out to try to settle things here with the Fabs and the Guerreros, he's got Stan Lane in the ring with Héctor Guerrero, and as the pushing goes on, you can see who got the worst of it. Steve Keirn started in at that time, but he didn't come very far. The grip now, the throw over by Keirn by Lane rather, was a good one, and he's bragging about it to the fans. Now remember, if you're watching this program on Saturday night, I can tell you that tomorrow night at the Sam Houston Coliseum, starting at 7 p.m., we have a tremendous wrestling card in this Coliseum. Maybe one of the biggest of 1985, and most certainly the last. And now, with the tag team action continuing, I'll tell you that if you're watching this on Sunday morning, then you know that tonight the action will break loose at 7 o'clock. And our ticket office is open all day at 1919 Caroline at the corner of Pierce. Hammerlock now for Héctor Guerrero. He touches his brother Chavo, and Chavo comes in with the bounce on the arm that could just shake that arm right down into its socket. Saw the quick switch, and it was Guerrero who did it. Guerrero who comes in there to suddenly take advantage of the fast movement of Stan Lane and to turn it against him. He did it. Twisting arm lock. And Chavo, former world's junior heavyweight champion and one of the game's best keeps that double wrist lock on there tight. He knows there are a lot of things he can do from that particular position. And the fans are all of a sudden hushed, waiting for Chavo to do it. And he got him down there by his own efforts and comes up with a hammerlock. So it's Chavo's grip. And there's a quick touch. In comes Héctor Guerrero. And Héctor goes up in the air and down on the arm, right about the elbow, and lands with his 220 pounds in the proper place. We have a great crowd here at the Sam Houston Coliseum tonight, just 2 days after Christmas, and then 2 more days, and it will be Sunday, and we will have action again here in the Sam Houston Coliseum. Don't miss it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be one of the super cards with a couple of feud busters in the final event. The return of Ted DiBiase to get even with Dickie Murdoch, and the big battle between Dickie Slater and his arch rival Hacksaw Butch Reed. And the prize for Butch Reed will be that he will have a valet in his corner. The Dark Journey will suddenly be helping him out in his matches if he permits her to do it. But he's battling for control over Dark Journey, something that has never happened before in Houston wrestling, I can tell you that. So Steve Keirn is inside the ropes, and Steve Keirn is just a little bit hesitant to go in there and get what his partner got. He's caught in a side headlock now by Chavo Guerrero, a man who favors that particular move and does it exceptionally well. Hit him solidly and hit him hard. Took him over and slammed him down into that canvas. And here comes Héctor. And Héctor's going up and down and landing solidly on that arm. And both of these teams know how they can work together. Quick tag by Chavo, and Héctor may have been missed by the referee. At least that's what Steve Keirn on the outside is complaining about. But Stan Lane on the inside is taking the hammerlock. He's in trouble. He's having his problems. On the card, Friday, it's a Sunday night. This Sunday night, tomorrow night, or today, depending on when you're watching this program, we will see Terry Taylor, who is going to be battling Killer Brooks. And who is Killer Brooks' manager? But Gary Hart. Wolfat himself, and he has returned to the Houston wrestling picture with a tough cookie under his wing, the Waxahachie Bandit, and he can really wrap him up in behind, and Héctor's in position. He wraps him up, and whoa, he was thrown off that time, and through the ropes and off onto the floor goes Stan Lane, and he hits the concrete. I'll tell you, it's hard to tell these fellows apart. That snakeskin design on those wrestling trunks that they wear, the same kind of hair, the same kind of beard, and the same kind of muscles. There's no question about that. In the other corner, we have the brothers, and the brothers are easier to tell apart than those who are not related. So in comes Stan Lane. And now the referee is questioning which man was in, which man was out. How do you tell? Exactly, how do you tell? These two guys are clones. So now there's a peace offer, and there's not going to be a summit meeting before it takes place, I'll tell you. The fans are all warning Héctor wanting him not to fall victim to the effort. He's willing. His brother tells him to watch out. His brother has had a little more experience than Héctor, and Chavo knows the trick and knows it well. A quick move by Héctor Guerrero, and he bends that hand back, gets it off center, and pours it to him. There was a quick change by Héctor and Chavo Guerrero. You can see Keirn on the outside as he held him in there. Now as he pounds away at Chavo Guerrero, there's a quick doubling up, and they go after him. Héctor's out of the ring, and you can see what happened to Chavo. 10 minutes have gone by in this battle. The man down is Chavo Guerrero, and as he starts to get up to try to get into a defensive position, he's got two men in there who are heckling him with kicks and blows, and oh, did he run into a solid wall. He just was clobbered for sure that time, and as the referee now tries to get Héctor out of the ring, the brother Chavo is catching it on the outside again. He's catching it from both men, and again he comes over here to get the referee involved, and Chavo is taking a whipping in the corner. Héctor is boiling mad. Héctor is anxious to get over and to get his brother out of that corner. But every move that he makes, he's grabbed by two men and dragged back into it, and the referee has his back turned and can't see the infraction. There goes Chavo around the ring. Chavo off to take care of his brother, at least to stand guard over him. And the referee's trying to force him back where he belongs. Stan Lane and Steve Keirn, the Fabs, the fabulous ones, up in that ring right now. And they're being told off in no uncertain terms. Off on the floor, we've got Chavo Guerrero, and the referee was tolling a count. Here comes Chavo, poking his head up, and they're heading him for the ring where he can get in without getting knocked apart. This could be at least an opportunity for him, but he is still caught. And as Stan Lane follows him, he takes a clobber right at that throat. Not the open hand. He did it with the edge of the hand, and that takes in the territory that can really choke you. And there, the referee trying again to get Héctor back into the corner, and the two of them are after Chavo again, and this time the referee almost walked in on that pounding party they were having. Chavo having his troubles. And the Fabs pick him up and get ready for a driving shoulder breaker. And here, this is it. There's one, there's two, and there was two, and that was all. And Lane wants a fast count. Chavo in trouble as Héctor races around the ring, tries to get hold of him, and he takes off after him. Now, as the referee takes hold of Héctor, he tries to get him out of the ring, and Héctor this time has learned his lesson. He wants to tag his brother. Here's a solid right to the jaw. And again, Chavo Guerrero caught him with one. Now Chavo got his first clean-cut call in that corner. So in comes Steve Keirn, and Keirn now takes over to give Chavo Guerrero more of the same, while Stan Lane tries to keep the referee occupied. A backbreaker, and he dropped him solidly right across the knee, and right in the corner where he can taunt. He can taunt the brother, and the referee is trying to keep one-on-one, and there goes Chavo Guerrero hurtling through the air, and standing there waiting for him is Stan Lane, trying to kick his head through the concrete, and Hector gets around that ring and starts taking after him. Driving wallop, and Chavo's on the floor. Hector reaching up there to take care of him. You just keep in mind that we have wrestling here at the Sam Houston Coliseum. If you're watching on Saturday night, we have wrestling on tomorrow night, starting at 7 o'clock. If you're watching on Sunday morning, we have wrestling tonight. There it goes for the pin. There's one, there's two, and that sunset flip almost worked. And they're trying to keep him in the ring. And remember, all day Sunday, our ticket office is open. It is open and it is ready to serve you. But whether you have your tickets or not, be at the Coliseum for what is going to be the final event and the biggest event of 1985. Chavo is the man down. He has been slammed into the barricade around the ring. And as he paces up and down there, he's looking for the opportunity with that referee to get out of there, and Hector gets around to get his brother up and get his brother into the ring. So Lane catches it, and so does Chavo. There goes Chavo looking for the opportunity, and look who's keeping the referee out of trouble. Caught him right square in the kisser. A beautifully placed kick, and Steve Keirn trying to commit over that top rope. Lane is inside. There goes a good roll and a beautiful move by Chavo Guerrero, and the crowd goes crazy here as they uncork and start wailing away. Looking for that head crash, and they found it. And the Guerrero brothers are absolutely in their element when they are cutting loose and ready to help each other along the way. An arm swing and right into each other, chest to chest, face to face. And they're trying to set up one of the fabs. The one fab was Keirn. And now they're trying to set up Lane. And there go the flying feet and the man down. Hector's on top. Hector is on top, and the leap off the top rope, that leap for life, and the fab is on top. There's one, there's two, and that's not the man who belongs in. That is not the man who belongs in. The fabulous ones. The Fabs. Gentlemen, we have just signed another match to be added to the card here on Sunday night. And that Sunday night show starts at 7 o'clock here in the Sam Houston Coliseum. But many of you felt like we did that here in the Coliseum, that something took place in that tag team battle between the Fabulous Ones and the Guerreros. And I firmly believe that the wrong man was in the ring at the time.
Can you tell the difference between us? Now, how can you honestly say that? And look at us right now. Which one of us was the legal man?
You know, it doesn't matter which one of you was the legal man, because I saw, without a tag, one man get up and get out.
But as you know, and as all these people know, you wear glasses. Is that not right, Mr. Bosch? So what you see might not even be the truth anyway. Let me ask you something. Is this not the first time in the history of Houston sports and athletics that 25 women passed out when the Fabs walked to the ring? That's the first time ever.
Well, I didn't get the last two.
Well, let me tell you something. You know what it all boils down to is it looks like we're going to step into the ring with them again. Is that correct?
On Sunday night.
Well, that's
sleep well tomorrow.
Well, we'll sleep well. We'll sleep well tomorrow. We'll sleep well the next day, because just looking at these thousands of idiots standing out here. You know, when they told us in Florida that if you're from Texas, you're supposed to be something big and bad. Well, there ain't nobody in Texas that's any bigger and badder than the Fabulous Ones. You know, we've got a history all over the world, not just in this lowly Texas. But you know something? I looked all over the record books. I looked in every wrestling magazine, opened up every book, went from page to page to cover to cover. Did I ever see Héctor Guerrero or Chavo Guerrero? That sounds like an Italian sandwich. The Guerrero sandwiches.
But walk in any newsstand anywhere in the world, walk in any major toy store, and you'll see Stan and Steve the Fabs because, brother, we're like Coca-Cola. We're known all over the world. And anytime, any place the Guerreros want to get in the ring again against
Sunday
top caliber, a Sunday night, whenever, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we don't care. Because as you well know, Mr. Bosch, we beat them when we got darn well good and ready to beat them. We beat them right there in the middle of the ring. 1, 2, 3.
We'll be keeping tabs on both of them here at the Coliseum on Sunday when they're in the ring once again. It'll be a show stealer. I promise you that. As the bell sounded, we saw a very, very weak handshake between the man with the stars. He's the masked superstar who is making his debut here in the Sam Houston Coliseum and facing Jerry the King Lawler. Lawler, in his colorful regal costume, is a man who is probably better known throughout the Middle West, particularly around the Tennessee, Kentucky area, and then in all branches of the country. But his home base is in Memphis, Tennessee, and when he wears that crown, he wants you to know that he is the king. The superstar, well, he's a huge man, I can tell you that. He's about 285 pounds, and he is a solid citizen. When I say about 285 pounds, you want to remember that wrestlers don't get weighed in for every match in the heavyweight class. The heavyweight class, if you're over 220, you're in it. Whether you weigh 500 or whether you weigh 222, you are in the heavyweight class. And Lawler here is a man who at about 240 is a solid citizen, and he knows his way around. He uses the pile driver and has caused a tremendous amount of controversy over his use of it. And probably the one that most people remember best was when he applied it to a television star by the name of Andy Kaufman, who has since become the late Andy Kaufman. And Andy spent some time in the hospital, but he admitted afterward he had asked for it, and he caught it. The superstar, masked, of course. Now, the original superstar, Billy Graham, was not a man who wore a mask. There were times when some people suggested he should have, but Bill had those muscles that won him the finest trophy for the finest arms in the entire country, and he still has them. Tough customer. Twisting arm lock with Jerry Lawler doing the twisting, and you can literally see the curve of that arm go up through the muscles and up to the shoulder. He's turning it now into a hammerlock, or at least he's trying to push it up behind the back in arm bar fashion. But as the masked superstar rises, you can see that he's still content with thinking that he can take care of Lawler with wrestling skill. Now, Lawler's the kind of a guy who is a real switch hitter. And when somebody wrestles him, he loves it. And when somebody kicks him in the face, he loves it, and he'll get right out and kick back. He has done this throughout all of his career. So the superstar, hard to handle, but Lawler's smart. Lawler's smart. He's not going out there to infuriate him into getting mad. He is not out there trying to push him into getting rough, but he knows that he can wear him down with holds like this. This hold has turned into a hammerlock, and he wants to get at that mask. You see him reaching over there for it, because now he has probably decided that if he makes him mad, so be it. Now you keep in mind that while this match you are watching is being taped at the Coliseum on Friday night, that we are telling you right now that if you're watching it on Saturday on television, 39, of course, why you know that tomorrow at the Sam Houston Coliseum starting at 7 o'clock, one of the biggest and best and certainly the last card of 1985. And if you're watching on Sunday, then it's tonight at the Sam Houston Coliseum when you will see a tremendous bill of action, and tickets are on sale all day long, all day Sunday at 1919 Caroline at the corner of Pierce in downtown Houston. The 5-minute mark has been called in this match, and the action at the Coliseum on Sunday night is 7 p.m. Yes, Ted DiBiase, who was hospitalized about 6 weeks ago and who was proclaimed out of wrestling, is now back into wrestling. He is going to take on the man who put him in the hospital, and that man, of course, is Dickie Murdoch, who literally busted his head open and showed him no mercy. This is going to be a wild and rugged battle here at the Coliseum Sunday night at 7. And we will have the winding up of the feud between Hacksaw Butch Reed and his arch rival Dick Slater, whose valet, Dark Journey, will find that her services are up for grabs. If Butch Reed wins, he's going to have the services of Dark Journey for the next 30 days, and he wants it. He wants to teach her some manners. So as Jerry gets up and he starts flailing with that fist, he found that tender territory, and through the ropes and off onto this cold Coliseum concrete comes Jerry Lawler, and ooh, he was lifted and he was thrown right through the ropes, and as he rubs his knee, you can tell that as he came down, those knees spun around and hit up against the concrete. So as he makes the first step toward getting in, the superstar comes lowering the boom on him just above us, laying it down there and hauling across him with a solid smashing elbow. Lawler's on the outside. And as he hangs on the outside of that ring, he keeps his grip, and he got back in there as quickly as possible. He was at a disadvantage on the outside. He couldn't make a forward move, but right now he is catching it. And Lawler, just like you and I, Lawler doesn't like to catch. He likes to pitch. He likes to throw everything he's got at his opponents. And as he takes a beating to rise up to his feet, the masked superstar is scoring points. No question about it. As he lays that big fist of his in there, he's got Jerry a bit stirred, and he is mad. He ripped that garment off from over his shoulder, and he said, "That's enough of that." And here he is to turn around and start to wail away at the masked superstar. He's going for the pile driver. He's got, oh man, he had it. He came down there with a crash. There's one, there's two, but the superstar with that tremendous arm power of his, was able to bench press him up there in a jiffy. He threw him up in the air. And the king, Jerry Lawler, goes after that mask. He wants another trophy beside his own mask, I'll tell you. And the superstar wants a moment's respite if he can get it. His mask is about to come off. The laces are coming unglued, and as the superstar rises up, he come over there with a driving headbutt right smack into the jaw, and the masked superstar has just taken the measure of Jerry Lawler, and something was down on the canvas. That something was underneath the mask of the superstar, and Jerry Lawler has it, and he shows it to the referee. There is the verdict, not the one you saw called. The winner on a the disqualification here and right now, except that there is a dog collar that belongs around another neck. And right now, Buzz Sawyer is not ready to permit anything to happen to that other collar except to knock Hacksaw Duggan down. So Sawyer has the chain, Sawyer has the collar, and Hacksaw Jim Duggan is watching the tantalizing moves. He doesn't want to get caught in the middle, putting that collar on while his opponent is more than ready. This is a battle of wits as well as a battle of skills, a battle of violence. Sure, any sport is a violent sport because physical contact is always violent to people who don't like physical contact. But these people here in the Coliseum, they like physical contact, and they anticipate it, and they are ready for it. So evidently the Mad Dog started something by making it difficult to get that collar on, and he was about ready for it. Now you just keep your eyes on this one. This is something you have not seen. Now the bell sounds, and the focal point is that chain to shorten the distance and to keep your opponent from gathering up enough of that chain to be able to use it on you. You hear the cry, you hear the Duggan, and you see Duggan, who believes that maybe his fist can do just as much to the Mad Dog as the chain, but now he'll try the chain. Hard to swing it, but this chain is doubled up in 2 or 4 lengths by the time he gets it, and there goes Mad Dog. And he is literally headed back in the ring, or else he's not going to go anywhere. He's asking for timeout. In a dogfight? No. Now as they maneuver around, this crowd here watches closely, and they keep their eye on them. Now, there have been strap matches, there have been rope matches, there are bell rope matches in Texas. There are many, many names for battles of this kind, but the toughest of them all is the one you are watching right now, the one that takes these two fellows and puts them in with a chain wrapped around their neck. And Buzz Sawyer has been flattened on this canvas as Duggan, who is at least a hefty St. Bernard, and with that man lying there, he is taking no chances. He knows that the winds can change quickly, and now as he gets out on the floor, he is taking Buzz Sawyer right along with him. The two of them are on the floor alongside of us. They are using the barricade around the ring right now, and as Duggan grabs hold of him, he decides that the ring post would be the best place to test his head, and test it he did. Sawyer gets back in the ring. Sawyer rolls across that canvas, tries to stay away from Duggan. He tried to reach out. There's a little demonstration of the kind of strength that Sawyer is up against when he meets this rugged, stubborn, iron backbone Hacksaw Duggan. And Buzz Sawyer caught that last one as he came off of that rope. There's one, there's two, and there was 2.5. That was almost 3, as referee Tommy Gilbert that time was on the way down. But as Sawyer gets up to his feet, he has the chain partly in his hand, and he is able to use it almost like a glove. You see him now as he tries to literally tie Hacksaw Duggan into the rope itself. Duggan now has suddenly found out how it feels to have that thing catch you alongside the jaw. And Sawyer, as he pursues him out there, doesn't mean to let Duggan get even a moment's respite out of this. He smashed him into the barricade, and that barricade is solid, hard to move, and just about hard enough to drive a guy down into it. Now the crowd trying to get Duggan chant going, and the crowd's so worried about Duggan, they're not so sure that they want to chant right now. I think some of them are sitting there just hoping and hoping and hoping that he recovers from this attack and can get up on that canvas and take after him. There is Duggan on the floor and waiting for him down on an all-fours position. Up in the ring is the Mad Dog himself, and he decided to go out and do something about it. But again, you're making use of the surroundings. Sawyer looking well pleased with him. Now you hear it. Now they've decided that it's time for him to really hear a roar with his name in there. And as Duggan gets up in that ring, he is trying to recover, and he came close that time. Sawyer is trying to make him eat part of that chain. Duggan is bleeding from his hard contact with the chain and with the post and with the barricade around the ring. 5-minute mark has gone by, and it seems to me like, watching the intensity of this, that they've been wrestling for an hour. 5 minutes have gone by, and they have taken an inordinate amount of punishment. Duggan down, and Sawyer, as he maneuvers around, looks for a place to use that chain, and Duggan lets out a bellow. He is howling at the moon, if you will, and he is taking the punishment. And now he is roused, and as he turns around to blast Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer, this tremendous Coliseum crowd goes utterly crazy, roaring their approval. And Sawyer, stretched out, laid out by that pounding clothesline. Hard to call it a clothesline when there's a chain in there being used, but that's the nature of the move, whether it's done with a clothesline or an arm or a chain. There's one, there's two, and Sawyer was just able to maneuver his way out of that predicament. Sawyer underneath, and Hacksaw pounces on top of him. Hacksaw sinks his teeth into Buzz Sawyer's ear, and as he rises up, he's got a grin on his face. Sawyer is having trouble rising. Duggan is welcoming him to the land of the standing. He wants to knock him down again. And as he rises up to his feet, there is the the boxing lesson. The jab coming out there and setting him down, and he disappeared. Buzz Sawyer is coming up again. Sawyer now brought in within range. Oh, as he swings around, he comes around to lay that in there tightly. And as Sawyer is on his feet, he is being held up there by Duggan, and Duggan laid a right-hand blow, a smashing right-hand blow into the jaw of Buzz Sawyer, and he is taking all of that chain up in his bloody hand and is ready to pound it in there. There he goes, again and again, and Duggan just howled out, "He's mine, he's mine," and Sawyer made a move to get out of the predicament, and he's still Duggan's. Sawyer is caught. He's wrapped up in the ropes. He's hanging on to the rope to try to avoid being pulled in, over, under, or through the ropes. The referee trying to get him into the ring, and it's the Volga Boatman song here, I'll tell you. Man is in trouble. That is a man who has a chain around that is dragging him against that steel cable in the ropes. Duggan on the outside. There is the move on the inside. And Duggan doesn't take a backward step. He's got his opponent out on the floor, and as he goes through the ropes, he just follows him along and decides that he's not going to let him go any further. Sawyer's having trouble. Sawyer's being whooped. He's being battered. Let's put it that way. And there is a cruel fall for Hacksaw's opposition. That's Buzz Sawyer. Watching that Buzz Sawyer, looking for the telltale signs. Will he be able to rise up to his feet? And Sawyer looking for timeout. And this time all he's getting is a little bit more chain and a little bit more as Duggan moves in, straightens him up, and decides he's going to do something with him. He's whirling him around and over the ropes. He was whirling him around there, but I want to tell you, if he had been able to throw him out to the top rope, oh, man. Man down is Hacksaw Duggan. Man on top is Buzz Sawyer, and Hacksaw Duggan just got clobbered in a, of course, no disqualification match, and a match that has brought out the roughest in both of them. A wild battle as Hacksaw